Jewel Daniels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The electricity is still on. The sky hasn't fallen. The sun hasn't burnt us all to a crisp. I'll be the first to admit that at midnight on January 1st, 2000, I was one of those people clutching a flashlight and a water bottle, huddled with friends and family, expecting the end. We thought that Y2K bug was going to bite us all. What were we so afraid of? We entered the new millennium, and since then, we have seen amazing technologies that have allowed for some incredible events in the year 2010. Global communication in the last decade not only amazed and sometimes startled us, it also united us. Global communication allows us to have more compassionate connections with the world. Global communication empowers us to share our generosity, humanity, and solidarity, which becomes more and more important as we all realize that we are citizens of not only our own countries, but of the world. For these reasons, I believe that global communication is the idea for 2010. Let's look at some examples. In 2010, Haiti experienced a devastating earthquake. In Chile, 33 miners were trapped in a cave-in. And in Tunisia, one brave man's protest sparked a wave of demonstrations. Without the magnitude of the perpetual contact we have across the globe, the end results of these events would have played out much differently. As we saw in the beginning of the year, things were changing. Cell phones had a huge impact. The earthquake hit Haiti on January 12, 2010. Here at Juniata, from almost the second students stepped back on campus after winter break, a committee was formed to organize fundraising efforts, and people all around the world were doing the same. The next morning, January 13th, the Red Cross had already set up a system where people could text the word Haiti to 90999 to donate $10. The Mobile Giving Foundation reported a record of 10,000 texts per second, and $30 million was raised through the text messages alone. Billions in aid came pouring in from other sources, along with medical supplies, clothing, food, and water. People have always been generous, but in 2010, we saw that generosity on a global scale. Only 10 years ago, here in the United States, we would have heard about the earthquake hours later rather than minutes. But today, information sharing is near instantaneous. As such, the sharing of resources is also much more feasible and much faster. We saw more changes months later, but this time it was television that had the big impact. The mine collapse in Chile happened on August 5th at the San Jose copper and gold mine. The story was kept up to date by the minute. People all over the world followed the news, wishing, hoping, and praying that someone would find a way to save these men. In Berlin, Pennsylvania, only 2 hours from here, Brendan Fraser and his company, Crater Rock Incorporated, saw the news and decided to step up to the challenge when they heard that the men would not be rescued until Christmas. They realized that the drill they had could be the key to this rescue mission, and they could also get it done faster. As they reported on their website on October 13th, after 33 days of drilling, in the 33rd month of the year, all 33 miners were rescued. Talk about your coincidences. As we watched, glued to our televisions, we weren't watching strangers. These were our families anxiously awaiting reunions. President Barack Obama said it best. The tears they shed after so much time apart express not only their own relief, not only their own joy, but the joy of people everywhere. In that moment, we shared a sense of humanity with people we had never met. Only 10 years ago, those men in Chile would have been trapped until Christmas because the technology they needed was 5,000 miles away in Berlin, Pennsylvania. 5,000 miles was a lot farther in 2000. Now these men are going back to their lives, and who knows how they will go on to change the world. Any one person can have a lasting impact, as we saw towards the end of the year in Tunisia. On December 17th, Mohamed Bouazizi was insulted, slapped, and had his vegetable cart confiscated by a government employee. He was 26 years old, and he supported his mother, his sisters, and himself. One of his sisters is a college student, just like us, with everyday concerns that we have. And after the governor refused to respond to his complaint, he set himself on fire. According to CNN World News, his protest was the one that sparked the demonstrations in Tunisia, like a single drop of water into a pond where ripples expand outward. Eventually, due to these protests, President Ben Ali resigned from his position. The images of these protests spread through the internet, and people all over the world showed their solidarity with Tunisia. Only 10 years ago, in 2000, who knows when these images would have reached the rest of the world? With current technology, within days the images were spread through Facebook and YouTube, neither of which had yet been invented in 2000. We are still seeing the impacts of this today in countries like Libya, Bahrain, Yemen, and of course, Egypt, where a man, one of the protesters, has named his firstborn daughter Facebook. So where are we now? Thanks to global communication, we are almost everywhere. And yes, if the internet were to fail today, it would be much more of a catastrophe than it would have been in 2000. And not just because we feel we have to check our Facebooks every 5 minutes. Haiti brought out generosity on a scale never before seen. Chile captured our hearts and our humanity. And Tunisia generated solidarity with people everywhere seeking dignity and freedom. So no, it's not the end. Global communication changed our world drastically in 2010. Now, we get to watch and see how it continues to shape our future.